Okay, so this probably looks very different if you weren't at the stream tonight. Quick couple of things. I'm not moved out yet. We're still finalizing all that stuff. But I did set up all my new stuff very poorly. Extremely poorly. Like, actually, it basically wasn't, you know, really worth doing. It didn't make any of the stuff better because I didn't get to set it all up in the right way. Anyways, you can clearly tell we have the new cool mic that turns on and off when I touch it. That's very cool. It would have been muted if I was talking when it was turned off, but you didn't get to see that. Besides that, new team with Kingler. Why am I obsessed with using weird water types? I don't know. Water typing is just the best typing in this format. Even though, like, Rillaboom is the best Pokemon, I'm still pretty sure that water types are the best. That's just me, though. I'll explain this team as we go along as usual, but Kingler is what I'm trying to make be the star of the show. We used it on stream quite a bit, and Kingler actually came through. Kingler was actually really, really good. But this is a temporary setup. I'm recording all of the Kingler episodes today in this setup, so they're all going to look the same. I have no idea what the episodes are going to look like after this Kingler stuff. It honestly could be anything. It really could be anything. If anyone can guess why... So this is a character from... This is a thing from One Piece. If you can guess why this is a pun, then I would be very impressed. If you understand what this pun is behind me, can't really move out of the way too much. If you get it, if you understand, let me know in the comments. Or if you have no idea, I will accept completely wrong guesses. I think completely wrong guesses would be funny too. But it's not a crazy impossible thing to get, but you kind of got to know the show to know what's happening back there. That'd be pretty impressive if somebody got it. I love always seeing some fellow anime fans in the chat and the comments. But we're getting off with this game one. Can't go Kingler, unfortunately, with this game one, but as I said, I think it's a little bit more beneficial for me to show when a meme doesn't work than to keep trying to force it. Also, you see when I move those shadows. This is a really temporary setup, I'm telling you guys. I also still have the sub goal. We were just streaming. Let me crop that out. Live editing. So we follow me, they Tailwind. We're definitely eating a max steel spike. The question is, do we eat it or do we die? We do eat it, so very good stuff. Because for those who don't know, the way that Cobalion and Whimsicott work is they like to beat themselves up. Not in the typical sense either. They like to use the move Beat Up on the Cobalion. What that does is it gives it a +1 attack because of its justified ability. But Beat Up hits multiple times. 4 to be exact, sometimes less. But in this lead, they hit 4 times, so they get +4 attack, which is really, really good for my opponent. Not so good for me, so we tend to try to avoid that. And the best way to avoid it is through having a redirection Pokemon. Amoonguss wouldn't work, because as we all know, grass types are not affected by Rage Powder. But Togekiss' Follow Me would redirect that Beat Up away if my opponent decides to go for it. I don't know why they would in front of my Togekiss. They should know that I can take their attack away. Sometimes people do go for it anyways because they don't have a better option. And they're like, well, I either get my Beat Up off or I didn't have a better option in the first place. This guy does have Moonblast, but if he didn't have Moonblast, we do get knocked out by the way. If he didn't have Moonblast, I could very easily see him going for that hit. Okay, my opponent max Airstreams. The question is, do we knock the Whimsicott down low enough for Urshifu's Sucker Punch to finish them off? They made a really nice play there, max Airstreaming, because that meant that, because usually, if I Dragon Dance and max Airstream, and they Tailwind, I will outspeed Whimsicott. But, with that Tailwind and max Airstream, they currently outspeed me. But I don't want to get beat up. Well, they'd be beating themselves up, but you know what I'm saying. I don't want to experience the beat up. So I thankfully can Sucker Punch Whimsicott and max Airstream one more time to put myself in it's a pretty good spot. Not a great spot at the moment, but a spot that I will definitely take as long as they give me this Sucker Punch. See, I can mute the mic whenever I want. High quality, very high quality stuff. So they go down to the Sucker Punch. Clearly, well, I mean, they're trying to beat up our Moonblast. Moonblast into either of my Pokemon would have been really not fun, as I'm sure you can imagine. And beat up obviously would raise their attack, which also not that fun. Didn't want that to happen. So glad we avoided that. Cool thing is Urshifu still has its Focus Sash, and their Dynamax is gonna be over this turn. So we're looking like we're in a pretty good spot. I gotta be honest. They do have a Dragapult in the back. Gotta be honest, I'm not too afraid of that Dragapult, because if you look, our Dragapult has +3 speed right now, so we will actually outrun that Dragapult. We can go for a close combat here on a Cobalion and a Max Phantasm onto the Dragapult. They could try to go for Phantom Force, but no matter what they do, we're going to be outspeeding them. We're going to be outspeeding and knocking them out. Cobalion is going to outspeed and Iron Head me. But is that Scarf? To carry the... That's got to be Scarf, right? I'm going to need to do some math, but that doesn't look normal to me. Because Tailwind gives you ×2. So I'm a little slower than the average Dragapult, right? Not by much. I hit 190. They hit 213 if they're not Choice Scarfed. Multiply them by 2, and no matter what my number is, if you multiply me by 2.5, I should be faster than the Dragapult. I'm not sure. I might be not that good at math, but if my years of Pokemon haven't failed me, I should be correct about this. I'm not sure. That's something we definitely got to look into, because Scarf Dragapult is wacky, especially when you're physical. Scarf, special. I don't like it, but it's fine. It works. But whatever, man. To each their own. We're going to switch to Indeedee. One of my favorite plays here is switch to Indeedee to stop the Rillaboom. As I was saying, something we haven't gotten to explore yet is the weakness to Rillaboom that Kingler brings along. We didn't bring Kingler, but even so, we don't like getting Grassy Glided. We don't. Or Faked Out. We don't like Fake Out or Grassy Glide. So Indeedee very, very easily stops that and says, hey, no priority on my Pokemon, as all of my Pokemon except Togekiss and Rotom are on the ground. Get a Dragon Darts here. Knock out Cobalion with that +2, because they gave me a weakness policy too, so like they're giving away free stats. And the Dart hits Rillaboom. Not knocking it out, but like that damage is good enough for me. I see they did Grassy Glide my Dragapult. They wanted to get that cheeky knockout, even onto my Dragon type, but it was at low HP, so they would have gotten a cheeky knockout if I let them. Unfortunately, me not letting them, as I said, shuts down that plan and is easily going to be taking this game one. Going to be expanding, forcing, and I'll just Wicked Blow. I could Sucker Punch, but there's no reason to, as they don't have priority anymore. Yep, they do not have priority. So that's going to be a quick 1-0. Unfortunately, Kingler didn't get to get featured, but I still think that this team is really, really strong all over every part of it. Doesn't need to be just Kingler. So, even though Kingler didn't get to shine, we still are putting on a pretty good show with the team. Okay, I lied. I can also mute the mic with my mouse. Like if I sneeze like that. I don't have time to like reach up and bop it and then also sneeze. So, muting the mic normally. But we're getting our next battle right away against Six-Eyed. I don't know how to pronounce that. This doesn't look... I'm upset, because this also doesn't look like a Kingler game. They've got what I would assume to be just a Toxtricity with Overdrive. And fun fact, that knocks out Kingler. So I don't think I actually want to go that route. But at the same time, Kingler. I don't know, it seems like it might work. I'm going to go Kingler Togekiss. You know what? For the fans, we're going Kingler Togekiss or Urshifu Indeedee. I think it'll work. I think they're not going to go Toxtricity because they're, at least as a lead, they're not going to lead Toxtricity because they're afraid I don't know of what. Indeedee, maybe? But we need to hope they have no idea what's going on. That's not really what we need to hope. But if they don't go Toxtricity lead, we're in a much better spot than if they do. If they do lead it, we are going to max Quake it. Because we do have max Quake, which raises my special defense and also gets a knockout. If you haven't looked at the paste yet, just to see what the Kingler has. I mean, even if you're not taking my paste from the channel, looking it over once just to see what we're working with is pretty cool in my opinion. If you haven't looked at it yet, we do actually have Metal Claw on the Kingler. Interesting choice, but as you know, we live in a Dynamax world, and because of that, I need my Steel Spikes. I do. It's the only Steel move that Kingler gets. Also, my face is gonna like disappear sometimes because the white is so bright. We're dealing with it. We've had worse. Good news is we're on the new computer though, so I don't think we're gonna be dropping frames. Hopefully. Hopefully this computer can handle it. I didn't configure anything. So hopefully with no configurations, we should be able to not drop frames. Indeedee Togekiss coming out. Interesting, interesting. I feel like that loses to me. I think Kingler's about to body a fool. You know, it'd be funny. Be really funny if my opponent thinks that I've got Wide Guard and doesn't Expanding Force here. Because we're going to max Foam Burst, Helping Hand. I have no reason to follow me. Clearly they're going to like Dazzle Expanding Force. Well, that's a good sign. It looks like they're not going to be Dynamaxing either. I was kind of worried about a Max Togekiss, not going to lie. Here he is. Mr. Crab himself. Big bearded. I don't even know. I didn't think that went through. Big bearded crab. That's all you gotta know. We're gonna Helping Hand, like I said. The worst thing that happens is they yawn me. Because they're gonna Expanding Force. I've accepted that. Kingler with the Assault Vest gets crit. But we still take it. They Dazzle. Are we getting crit again? Crits Togekiss. Crits everywhere. Okay. That's fine though. 2 crits cannot slow my Kingler down. It's not enough. It is not enough. We do not knock out Togekiss, but we didn't need to. We did not need to. Because next turn we do have the Dazzling Gleam, and a Dazzling Gleam and another Foam Burst should be enough to knock my opponent out. Like, we'll go for Foam Burst into Indeedee and a Dazzling Gleam here. And I think we should be good to clean this game up already. 1 turn. Kingler ends games in 1 turn. Is that clickbait enough for you? I got yelled at in the comments by someone saying I clickbaited by having Psyduck in the title and the thumbnail, even though I was using Psyduck. So if Kingler doesn't end this game actually in 1 turn, like if my opponent doesn't 1 turn forfeit, I can't put that there. Even though I think the game's over in 1 turn. Max Foam Burst. So for those who don't know, the reason Kingler's good, there's 2 reasons. 2 reasons, right? Number 1 is, well, 3 reasons. 1, it's really strong. Very strong attack. That crit did not matter. Crit did not matter at all. 1 is it's really strong. 2 is it has the ability Hyper Cutter, I believe, which may seem weird, but what it does is it basically prevents stat drops, which is really, really, really good. Uh-oh. He brought the Overdriver in. That's not good. Not bad. Not the worst. We are going to Foam Burst it, and I guess we'll Dazzle again, but I'm actually pretty okay with this. I'm okay with this. They're going to Overdrive. They're going to knock both my Pokemon out. There's nothing I can do about it. But we have an Indeedee in the back, and they just don't beat Indeedee. So, I'm not really sure what their game plan is, but they're going for it. Anyways, the reasons that Kingler's good. 1, like I said, really good. 2, like I was saying, it is immune to stat drops. So it can't get intimidated. It, like, Incineroar is even worse against it, because it can't get its stats lowered. And number 3 is its GMAX move. For those of you that didn't happen to catch that in the first few turns, its GMAX move gives a -2 speed to your opponent. -2 speed is crazy, honestly. -2 speed. Basically at -2, you outrun everything. Now, Kingler, being not the best, still gets outsped by some things at -2. But the idea is Kingler does its job, does a lot of damage, hits some super effectives, gets some stat boost, but it lowers the opponent's speed down enough where the Indeedee or Shifu combination, which I think is busted. This combination tears through teams. With the Focus Sash on Urshifu and the Choice Specs on Indeedee, it gets so powerful so fast. So the question is, what the heck type is he going to turn into? I don't know the answer. Hopefully it's not flying. What we're going to do is we're going to close combat Expanding Force. Because I think he wants to turn into a fire or a fighting type. And if he turns into a flying type, big rip. Enormous rip. Because that would mean that our close combat hits for not very effective damage. And we don't want that. I think if I pick the right move here with our Shifu, we have a chance of winning. Max, oh, dude. I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. You maxed Darkness at the wrong time. Like I was saying, okay, the reason he maxed Darkness is because he thought I would Wicked Blow. Because Wicked Blow is safe. But I went out on a hard read that he would turn into anything other than flying. And we get a very strong close combat off on him. Weirdness goes away too. I could Sucker Punch, but I just want to go for another close combat just to close it up. We could go for Sucker Punch because the terrain disappeared, but I'm not really feeling like that's the right call. I don't know, Max Guard shenanigans, whatever. Max Strike, he has 2 Cinderace typings that are weak to fighting. Very interesting. Urshifu gets knocked down to 1 HP, like I said. Easy peasy. And we are going to get the close combat knockout on Cinderace. Hey, he almost got knocked out himself there. That would have been a sad way to go. That would have been a very sad way to go. Well, 2-0 for today. That can only mean we go 2-4 over the remaining 2 days. That's just kind of how it goes. We all know. We all know at this point. We're on episode like what, 26, 27? We know how it goes. On my face is disappearing. Anyways, that's going to be it for me for today. A little bit of a shorter one, but Kingler just ends games so fast. Kingler didn't help the first one too much, but the second one you saw. It lowered the speed, it got the knockouts, gave me the positioning. What more could I ask for? Not much. Not much at all. But as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as I said, if you know what this is, leave a comment, let me know. I don't have anything for the winner. It'd just be cool to have, be cool to have somebody find that out. Anyways, that's going to be it for today. I will see you guys tomorrow with another episode of Kingler.